Welcome to Highland League Weekly, where the Press and Journal puts a spotlight on the Breeding Highland League. I'm Ryan Cryle, joined by Callum and Paul Third for this final show of the 2025-26 season. Of course, on Saturday we were at Christie Park, Huntly, for the curtain closer, the R Davidson Banchory Highland League Cup final between Turriff United and Formartine United. And here's the best of the action.
Something had to give at Christie Park in Huntly, as Formartine United and Turriff United went head-to-head in the R Davidson Banchory Highland League Cup final. Formartine were hoping to end their final hoodoo after 7 cup final defeats, as they chased their first silverware since 2019, while Turriff were bidding to win the cup for the first time in their history, with their last silverware coming in the Aberdeenshire Shield 11 years ago. Turriff were first to threaten when Miller Keir got in behind the Formartine defence, but his cutback just evaded Richie Massey. Turriff kept the pressure on, and Scott Robertson crossed for Murray Cormack, who headed straight at Stuart McKenzie in the Formartine goal. Mackenzie Taylor then picked out Miller Keir, who saw his flick saved at the near post. Formartine had struggled to impose themselves, but they did muster a reply when Hamish Ritchie fired in a strike from 25 yards, which goalkeeper Lee Herbert gathered at the second attempt under pressure from Julian Wade. Turriff were then awarded a free kick after Massey was fouled by Scott Ross. Murray Cormack stepped up to take the free kick, but his effort flew narrowly over the crossbar. However, Turriff made their next chance count. Richie Massey's in-swinging corner from the left broke for Owen Kinsella, and his left-footed lash from 12 yards found the net with the aid of a slight deflection of teammate Glenn Donald. Formartine suffered a blow in the half-hour mark when striker Rory McAllister was forced off with a calf injury. Scott Adams replaced his teammate, and he immediately created a chance for Wade at the near post. From the resulting corner, Finlay Morris flashed an effort just past the post. Wade also had a header from Tyler Makita's corner, turned away by Lee Herbert as Formartine chased an equaliser. The Formartine attacker then turned provider with a tempting cross from the left which evaded everyone in the 6-yard box. Throughout the first period, Turriff's Timi Fatona had been having issues with his right shoulder, and he was eventually forced off in the 51st minute. Formartine stepped up their search for an equaliser, and Paul Campbell stung Herbert's palms with a strike from the edge of the penalty area. But Stuart Anderson's side suffered a setback when they were reduced to 10 men. Ryan McLeod's pass left Keir one-on-one with Scott Ross, and when Keir tried to knock the ball past the defender, it struck his arm. Referee Will Adams showed a red card to the Formartine player for denying a goal scoring opportunity. It did not take Turriff long to make their extra man count. Taylor's header sent Keir racing into the box, and although Matthew Cooper stopped him getting a shot away, the loose ball fell for Taylor to fire into the net from 8 yards to double Turriff's lead. Ritchie's long-range strike was held as Formartine sought a route back into this contest. At the other end, Mackenzie did well to keep out Keir's header. But Taylor put the seal on a day to remember for Turriff when he weaved in from the right flank, past 2 challenges before firing a low left foot shot past Mackenzie. A day to remember for the Hawks outfit as it ended Formartine United 0, Turriff United 3. Following the full-time whistle, the Turriff squad celebrated their cup success with their fans. Taylor was first up to collect his Man of the Match award.
And runners-up for Formartine United.
He was followed by runners-up for Formartine United. Then it was time for Turriff to collect their winners' medals.
Winners' medals, Turriff United.
The last honour fell to Captain Andrew Watt to collect the trophy and spark the celebrations. Congratulations to Turriff United, R Davidson Banchory Highland League Cup winners 2025-26.
Are you ready?
Well, Mackenzie, Taylor, Turriff United, R Davidson Banchory Highland League Cup champions. How would you sum it up?
It's incredible. I mean, we've made history, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, the whole town was behind us today. Like, it wasn't 11 men, it was 12. But yeah, it's incredible.
That's the thing, when you sort of came out and you saw the amount of people here, the amount of support. How did you and sort of the players feel?
It just fires you up. Like, you hear them going mental as you're walking out, and you're like, everyone thinks that we can win this. Everyone's behind us. It's just the support is incredible. There's nothing about it.
And tell me about your 2 goals.
First one, I've flicked it on to Miller, and he's done really well. He's turned the boy. I actually think if I don't put it in the back of the net, it's a penalty. And then I've managed to get it around the keeper. The second one, it's been cleared. I've managed to stand up my man, get it in, put it through someone's legs, and it goes in. It's just a good day.
That's disappointed to come off and they get the hat trick?
No. There's no disappointment. Absolutely no disappointment whatsoever.
That was maybe a bit tongue in cheek, but I mean, overall, when you look at how would you sort of sum up the performance of everyone today?
Everyone to a man was just top. Like, there's not one boy that you could call a weakness at all in this team, and we're all so together. There's no I in this team. It's all 11 boys plus the bench, 20 boys. We all fight. We're all together. It's just that's how you win trophies. That's how you win trophies.
And what's maybe, I mean, sort of been an up and down season. Oh, yeah. now that that's passed, what's maybe, because obviously things have been a bit up and down at Turriff this season, what's maybe changed the last few months in terms of like the way you've ended the season and now coming here and having this success?
I think Greg coming in, there was a fresh start. We were good. We were good at the start of the season. We had the good cup run. We got to Ayr. That was a great experience. Then Greg comes in, and we just seem to have gone bang. And it's just everyone together. He's believed in us. He's kept us all as a group. Andy Watt, best captain in the league by a mile. So when you've got someone like that leading your team, you're not going to fail, really, are you?
And is this a first trophy for you as well?
First trophy in adult football, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what does that mean to you on a personal level?
It's probably going to be the biggest trophy of my career, by a mile. I mean, my whole family was here to watch today, and it just meant so much. And to do it the way I managed to do it, but the way the team did it, it's just incredible. You've got to remember, Formartine are a top team. But, you know, commiserations to them.
Mm-hmm. And you hope this is, you know, when you, I know it's not right now, you won't be thinking about next season, but when you look ahead, you kind of hope, you know, that this is the start of potentially a really good spell for Turriff.
Yeah, I think this thing definitely pushes us on. It gives you the belief. We've got a trophy under our belts now. Now we go into next season and we look for more trophies. We look to get up the table. It's all ambitions.
Greg, how would you sum that up?
Stressful. Again, I think I feel like I'm repeating myself. It's clear that we've got a game plan for different games, and like I'm so proud of this boys. They've executed it to the T, and I think everybody knows we deserve to win that game today. And I'm just, more than anything, I'm so happy for the people at Turriff because they've deserved this. It's been a long wait to win this, and yeah, I don't want to get too emotional, but they deserve that so much. The committee members, the volunteers, it's unbelievable the work that they do at this club. So I'm a bit emotional, but really proud of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. I mean, first time the club's won this trophy, but kind of 11 years since the club had won anything. So to end that way, it must be very special.
It is. It is very special. But when I took on this job, I knew what I was getting. I knew that they weren't as far away as maybe people would expect. You know, fifth bottom, maybe people thinking they're struggling, they're smarting up the numbers, but they're so far away from that. It's unbelievable. There's so much good squad there. I think our oldest player today was 27. We're a young group, but we're stick together and let's see what the future takes.
You mentioned when you came in, was it something as well? Like when you came to Club Greg or into the semi-final, when you came, are you sort of thinking, well, there's a wee, I mean, you've also done it, but a wee chance to go and sort of really kind of make a splash right away?
I identified that really early doors that I thought that we could go and win this cup. I identified that early doors, but I know what I've got in my changing room. I knew that we were going places. I also knew there was a lot of untapped talent here. Right away, Mackenzie Taylor comes into the team, Richie Massey comes into the team. Boys that were probably nowhere near that, but I knew the potential of these boys. And I always think with young players, you give them an opportunity, they'll return you tenfold.
And what does it mean to you to win your first trophy as a manager in Highland League Cup?
It means everything to me. I think I've touched on it before, I've been one of the most fortunate managers in this league in terms of what I've left before me. Like at Aberdeen, I had some unbelievable talents that's now played in the Premiership, boys that have played in Scottish Premiership. So I've been very fortunate to get good groups, and I think I'm very fortunate to get this group, but it means the world to me winning this cup, I can tell you.
Stuart, what was your thoughts on that?
Obviously extremely disappointed. I don't think we've turned up. We've had spells within the game where we've got pressure and we've had a few chances, but we've not took them, and we get a cheap goal away, and then you're chasing the game, and then we get a man sent off, and we're chasing the game with 10 men against a team who are really good on the counter, and ultimately it hasn't been good enough.
Is there anything you can sort of put your finger on for that, or just off day?
I don't know. If you look over the course of the season, we've been one of the better sides. The table doesn't lie, but it's a big game today. You need your players to turn up, and it isn't just one or two. We've probably only got 2 or 3 with pass marks there, and the big moments we got them wrong.
Have you got an opinion on Scott Ross's red card?
I would need to see it back. I hadn't actually spoke to Scott. It obviously changes the context of the game because we're a man down and we're a goal down, so we're chasing it to get back in. We're going to leave ourselves open, and ultimately Turriff have punished us twice there. But we'll view it back. But it's gone now, and congratulations to Turriff. I think you've got to give them credit because they've done a job on us today, and ultimately we didn't do our jobs and they did.
Just lastly, how do you sort of feel overall, Stuart, in terms of like us on another occasion when you've come so close but not quite go over the line?
That's something we need to look at, of course it is, because there's a good squad there, so I'm sure we'll pick the bones out of it, but it's really raw at the minute. So.
Okay then, a deserved cup win there for Turriff United. Callum, it certainly was comprehensive on the day.
It ended up by a sort of totally comprehensive win, and they were, I think, over the piece, nobody could really dispute they were the better team, and overall really it was a wonderful day for everyone connected with Turriff United. History made, the first time they've won the Highland League Cup in their history, and a first trophy of any kind for 11 years, and you could sort of see how much it meant to everyone afterwards, whether that was the players, management, supporters, committee members, volunteers. I think there was quite a few tears shed by some folk, because if you look sort of back over that period, there's been, since April 2015 to now, there's been quite a few lows and tough times, and various challenges have had to overcome. But I think one thing that has always stood out to me about Turriff United is they've always had very good backing from their local community, whether it's just people coming through the gate to support, or even like some of the businesses that get involved, or people who maybe sort of give their time to help the club for nothing. They're a big part of the town of Turriff, and I don't think when you saw sort of the crowd that was at Christie Park on Saturday, I don't think there was really anybody left in Turriff on Saturday afternoon, because they got a great backing, and I think the players kind of rewarded the people that came along in spades with their performance, because I thought they were excellent, really, just in terms of like right through the core of their team, like centre half Glenn Donald and Owen Kinsella dealt really well with like sort of Roddy McAllister when he was on, and Julian Wade's threat throughout. In middle of the park, I thought Andy Watt, Ryan McLean, Murray Cormack were all good, and then the forward areas, Miller, Keir, Mackenzie, Taylor were a threat all afternoon, really, and they were always, they're a very good sort of counter-attacking side, and that came at the fore again, but they were just, the front players were always sort of asking a question, and all, kind of felt like they were always in the game, and they've played their part in that 3-0 victory. And you look at the season overall for Turriff, you could probably write a book about it. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and like started the season reasonably well, and then maybe dipped a bit, and then Christmas time there was sort of a bit of a sort of tumultuous period with Warren Cummins leaving as manager, Tom Cummins leaving as chairman and things. But then since then, like new co-chairs, Paddy Neville, Karen Watson, Greg Moyer appointed as manager, and it's all worked out brilliantly for them, really, and it kind of looks like everything's rosy, and they've got a very good platform to sort of go forward into next season now, because for a lot, I think just about all of those players, a first trophy in Highland League football, first for Greg Moyer as a manager, and that, and first for a long time for the club. So it's a terrific success for Turriff United.
Never fails to amaze me how quickly things turn around for clubs. The pick of the goals, I mean, is that a hard question? I mean, I thought Mackenzie Taylor's third for Turriff was just sensational.
Yeah, because it's the buzz of anticipation when he gets on the ball, because the fans are all along that side where he collects it, and they're willing him on to go for goal, take him on and try and...
I was screaming, go to the corner!
and he does brilliantly. As soon as he's through, it just opens up for him, and I think he uses the other player coming across through the legs, and it beats Stuart McKenzie, because he's just unsighted. It's a terrific goal, but a terrific all-round performance from Turriff. I'm not surprised that Turriff won the cup. I'm surprised that they won it so comfortably. They were excellent on the day, but the flip side of that is for Formartine, it's been a really tough one.
See, before we go any further, mentioning goals, I want to say this. I'm due Glenn Donald an apology, because the first goal after the game, there was a bit of chat. The referee officially credited Glenn Donald. We watching it in real time, I was like, Stone Kinsella's shot that went straight in. And Glenn Donald, after the game, was adamant that he
what was the quote,
would
Callum?
get the first goal. And I said, I was like, you're a woman, you're havering, can you at it? And he said, no, if you watch it back, and forgive the slightly fruity expression, he goes, if you watch it back, it goes off my arse and goes in. And fair play to you, Glenn, you were right, and it was officially credited as your goal, so I'm duty bound.
I mean, we thought he was lying, but he wasn't, so yeah.
So you deserved your goal, Glenn, well done.
On the Formartine front, I did think they started the slower of the teams from the off. I thought when they were attacking early doors, it was a bit slow. It was a bit like the ball maybe just wasn't quite falling for them. Things were maybe taking a bit too long. They obviously then lose Rory McAllister. Do you know the state of play with Rory at this point? How big a blow do you think that was in terms of how the game then panned out from there?
Kind of hard to say, to be honest, because I thought actually, I mean, as much as I'd rather had Rory still on the pitch, I thought when that period, he went off after half an hour, for that then to sort of half time.
It's when Scott Adams comes on.
When Scott Adams came on, it was probably their best spell in the game, where Scott Adams had created that chance for Julian Wade. No one can sell us it as well to deflect the shot over. Lee Herbert made a good save for a Wade header, and then there's that one where Wade puts it across, and Tyler McKeita was coming in at the back post and just couldn't sort of get there in time. And that was probably, I mean, their only sort of decent effort in the second half was that Paul Campbell snapshot, but that sort of wee period was probably when they were most on top in the whole game. And I think, if it's easy saying now, but if you were looking back, that's probably when they sort of needed to score perhaps in that period, and it would have changed the game. I mean, second half I kind of felt it was quite scrappy, and then I suppose with better the red cards, a sort of big moment, and sort of that Turriff were looking a threat on the counter anyway, but that maybe tipped the balance a wee bit more in their favour again, just because it maybe gave them more space to exploit when Formartine were pushing bodies forward.
I mean, I've only still seen it in real time, the red card, but I didn't really feel the need to watch it back. I mean, have you guys seen it back?
I've watched it a heap of times.
But I can't help you. It's inconclusive is the word I had in my head.
It's the angle it's very hard to tell. And Scott Ross's defence, as far as I can gather, I think, is that he's saying it comes off his chest and onto his arm. And I think the other part of it where I would have sympathy with Scott Ross, I think, is it is at very close quarters. And I think you would potentially also make the argument of his arm sort of swings round, which potentially doesn't help him, but you potentially make the argument of, is there an awful lot he can do? I think as well, for the position of referee Will Adam, I would imagine that Megan Mackay, the assistant on that side, must have had through their head, must have had input into the decision, because I don't think the position it, and this isn't a criticism of Will Adam because of the way the play happened was quick, but the position he had, I don't think he would necessarily, if it is handball, would have seen it. There is also the thing that once the ball comes off Scott Ross, he kind of collides with Miller Keir, so I don't know, even if it's like they're going, well, it could be handball. There is also a trip. I think the thing for the officials is if they are satisfied, and it's a very big call to make when you get one look at it a split second, and it's, we've watched it back and we're still not sure, but I think the thing is for them, if they're satisfied it is handball or it is a trip on Miller Keir, if it's a foul one way or the other, then unfortunately for Scott Ross it has to be red, because otherwise Miller Keir's through on goal. So I think it's one of them where we're sitting here getting splinters in our backside really, but I can understand why they've given it, but I can also understand why Scott Ross maybe feels he's been hard done by.
Yeah,
I think if you look at it overall as well, though, aside for that decision, I think if Formartine look at it at that stage of the game when it's only midway through the second half, they'll be annoyed that they've been caught like that and caught so short at the back in that passage of play.
Yeah, I must admit I wasn't even aware of the handball. I just thought it was for denying a goal scoring opportunity by taking him down. And because I was even saying at the time, I thought Miller Keir could potentially have stayed on his feet. Anyway, obviously this cup win puts a great shine on Turriff's season. For Formartine, what does it mean for their campaign that they haven't won this cup final?
It's sore because it's 8 cup finals now that they haven't won, 2 this season. They've had a terrific run at it in the league and then come up just short. It's going to be a sore season now. Now that it's all done and dusted for them, for Stuart Anderson, these players are going to be looking back and wondering what might have been this season more than any for recent campaigns, given how well they've done in all of them. There'll be a lot of soul searching going on, I think, at North Lodge Park. Stuart might be looking at, what have I got here? What do I need? Do I want another go at this? There's all sorts of ramifications to come out of it, because it's ultimately they've come away with nothing from the season, and that's hard to take.
That's the thing. It is that sort of what if of a season, because Aberdeenshire Cup final, they were unlucky. Then Saturday they're well beaten. They're 4 points shy in the league, and it's like they've kind of had a go on all fronts. And at the end of it all, it kind of feels like they've missed a trick really, because they haven't been able to win anything. And I think when you look at, and even with the players missing, when you look at sort of the squad that's there and the talent that's within it, I think you look and think that's a squad that has the talent to, win a trophy or multiple trophies, but for whatever reason, this season it hasn't quite happened despite their best efforts. I think it's one of them where it's certainly, for having sort of challenged as much as I have during the course of the season, they'll be bitterly disappointed to come away with nothing at the end of it.
Before we move away from the cup final, one thing I wanted to mention was if we're giving a Warrior of the Day prize, and I don't know if this comes across in the highlights, but Timmy Fatona of Turriff United, whose shoulder came out of joint 4 times before he was finally substituted off. I mean, it wasn't great to see and watch, but I mean, it was quite remarkable the way he kept going, kept plugging away.
It wasn't worse for him. He was going to hospital afterwards to get it seen to, so I think he missed most of the sort of celebrations afterwards as well. So it was not how he'd have pictured his Saturday night, I'm sure.
Yeah, there was one part in the first half where he was standing in front of the dugout and his shoulder was clearly
hanging
not
down,
where the shoulder should be, and there was clearly a shout from the dugout from somebody on the bench that was along the lines of get on with it, and there was quite a comical moment where he was shouting back at them, pointing at his shoulder. Anyway, there was one league game to be taken care of on Saturday as well, one still be played in the 2025-26 season. It was Wick Academy against Banchory at Harmsworth Park. 1-1 the final score, Callum.
It was Sam Reid's opener for the Scories in the first half, cancelled out by Mark Gilmore's free kick. Now, I've had sort of 2 differing descriptions of Mark Gilmore's free kick. Gary Manson was unhappy and sort of felt that his goalkeeper, I think Lewis Gallagher, he could have done better and maybe wasn't at his finest moment, but Josh Winton felt it was a well-worked free kick, well-struck free kick from Mark Gilmore. So for anybody that's seen it, or it was there, please let us know. But either the upshot of all that was that Banchory got the point they needed to leapfrog Keith on goal difference and finish 6th, which wasn't where they wanted to be at the start of the season, but given the various sort of issues they've had over the campaign with a lot of important players missing and different things, you know, it's not really I would say not really a bad outcome for them overall. You know, in recent weeks they've sort of plugged away with the same small pool of bodies, sort of having to keep going, and you know they've sort of had a bit of a reward by ending up 6th. For Wick, again, it's sort of, I think Barry Manson felt it was a wee bit of symptomatic of their season, in that he thought in the main they competed really well, and on another day maybe could have had more out of it. He was disappointed as well. Chances had in the first half they maybe weren't able to get themselves 2 ahead, which would have changed the game. But overall for Wick, I mean, finishing 16th, you know, not the best season they've ever had, but I think they've seen encouraging signs in terms of some of the sort of younger players that have come through, and they've quite a lot of guys that have probably played 20, 25 plus games that are, you know, teenagers, and you would think going forward that, you know, in terms of sort of the future of the club, that they'll be in a better place for the experiences they've had this season.
Yeah. Okay, I hope everyone in the Highland League that had their end of season night out on Saturday is feeling okay by this point. Let's have a look at the final Breedon Highland League standings for the 2025-26 season. Now, before we go and wrap up this season of Highland League Weekly, worth discussing a little bit about the Pyramid playoffs, Callum. Bit of news over the weekend, the Lowland League, Highland League showdown isn't going to be happening?
No, Linlithgow Rose won the Lowland League on Saturday, and they haven't met the criteria for their bronze licence, which you need to get promoted or to be an SPFL club. So it means that Brora Rangers go directly into the playoff final, and they'll face Edinburgh City on May the 9th at Dudgeon Park and May the 16th down in Edinburgh. And I mean, really, if you were looking at it from the Highland League perspective, first of all, as much as it's maybe a shame for Linlithgow, whatever, it's great news for Brora, really, in terms that it gives them a better chance. And I mean,
it's a harder tie out of the way.
Well,
I think so.
Could be. Edinburgh City's lost their last six games, and from where they were maybe early, obviously the points deduction earlier in the season, they sort of were motoring a bit, and there, you know, there was a few teams I think a bit nervous at the bottom end of League Two, but then they've sort of fallen away the last month, 6 weeks. So we'll see. I mean, they'll still, you know, you still have to go out and do the job, but it feels like a sort of a boost for Brora already. That, I mean, there is a wider point as well. I believe the thing that sort of snookered Linlithgow's not having their accounts audited and submitted in time, but I saw their manager on Sunday sort of saying that part of the issue was when the sort of deadlines were coming up. I think it's February or into March time. Deadlines were coming up for sort of having your ducks in a row. Linlithgow were still quite a bit off the pace in the Lowland League, so I do wonder if there's maybe a wee bit of
it's not going to happen for us this
year. We're not going to
yeah.
win it this season, so we'll just sort of hold fire and save ourselves the outlay. And then obviously they've come through and won it, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people involved with them that'll be sick. There'll be some folk will say, you know, should a thing like, if it's like, it's not like a ground issue or like a on the pitch issue, so to speak, should that, like the audit accounts or whatever, stop you from being able to play in the playoff? And I could see the case, but rules are rules. I mean, there is maybe a wider point as well. Like, that's twice now. We've said it with Buckeye in 2024, twice now in 3 seasons where
the semi-final hasn't happened.
Yeah, where somebody hasn't been eligible to compete. And again, it's a very complex thing. I don't know what the solution is, but it's maybe, I do wonder if that's maybe something that'll be, by the powers that be, it'll be looked at going forward, is how can we maybe improve this process, or how can we sort of ensure that clubs are, you know, to give clubs the best chance of making sure they're ready for playing in these playoffs potentially. But overall, sure, Brora will be happy with, you know, the news they received, and it's roll on Edinburgh City now.
I would imagine Stephen Mackay's probably getting on the phone at the minute to see if there's any club still kicking about for a couple of friendlies to keep his side ticking over. It's going to be a month of
a month, aye. So.
From winning the title to playing the first leg.
Well, good luck to Brora when that tie rolls around.
Can I just say as well, quickly, because this is the last show of the season, thank you again to everyone that's like watched and interacted and everything with the programme, because it's very much appreciated. So thank you again, and hope you've enjoyed watching and we haven't annoyed you too much with some of our analysis.
Yeah, it's done my part for me. That's it, as I said, for Highland League Weekly for the 2025-26 season. Another season done for us. If you've enjoyed the season, keep up to date with everything Highland League from the Press and Journal via our social media feeds and on our website over the coming months. And most importantly, enjoy your summer.